everyone! What I wanted to talk to you today was about my experience, labour and birth experience. He's in a very excited mood today, aren't you? You excited? I don't know why. Well, he's just woken up from a nap, so he's full of beans. I know. Obviously every labour and birth is completely different, but when I was pregnant I used to look at videos and I used to be on the internet all the time just trying to look up different versions of what I could expect, and the truth is nothing is going to really prepare you, but it does help and put it, I don't know, more into perspective about what's going to happen. So I've got to be fair, my whole experience was good. When you look at sort of labour and birth experience, mine was one of the good ones, even though some aspects of it they weren't great. So basically I was 39 weeks. Well, I was 38 weeks and 6 days when I went into labour. I was in the pool in our local leisure centre with my mum, and I felt like I wet myself. It's what I felt like. I just felt like I was in the pool, it's like a sort of warm water or something. I was like, that's weird. And I said to my mum, I'm not sure what's happened. I think it could be my waters. But you don't believe it. You don't think, do we? No, we didn't believe it. You just don't think that is going to... We don't think it's ever going to happen. That's how I felt anyway. I just didn't think it was ever going to happen, especially not early. And so I was like, okay, that was weird. And so I just carried on swimming. And I started to get a couple of pains. And I'd had pains before, sort of like a couple of weeks before that I'd been having like cramps and things, which never sort of amounted to anything. But it just felt different. It does feel like period pains. Because that's what everyone used to say to me who'd had babies and stuff, was it just feels like period pains. And it does. But it just felt different. I knew it was different. So I was like, So I went out to the pool to go to the toilet just to check, because I could still feel something trickling out of me, and I was like, well, I was soaking wet from the pool, so I didn't know if it was like the water or whatever. And they say just to smell it, because it has like, I don't know, a certain smell. So I'm in the toilet cubicle in the leisure centre trying to smell it, and I'm soaking wet. I smell of chlorine anyway, so it didn't. So I didn't have a clue. And I got back in the pool, Mum was like, right, should we go? And I was like, oh no, I don't want to go. I thought, well, if I'm in labour, I may as well try and encourage it. So I kept swimming, but I had a couple more pains. And my mother was like, right, come on, we'll go in. So I was in the changing cubicle, and it was just trickling. It was just trickling out of me, this water. It obviously, me and Mum both knew exactly what it was. But at the time, you're just like, is it really? Are we sure? And I was getting a couple of pains, and so I was like, and the pains were fine, they were perfectly bearable. But I think my mum said to me, oh my God, you're shaking. Because I think it was just excitement, but also a bit of nervousness. I was just shaking a bit, and I was like, I just wanted to get home, didn't I? Just wanted to get home. I was soaking wet, I was massive and pregnant and stuff. I started to have some pains, and I just wanted to be home. So I only lived literally like 2 minutes from the leisure centre, so we got home. My husband was home. Told him that it was my waters that went. I put a clean pair of knickers on, and within 5 minutes they were soaking. So this is it then, and I started getting some more pains. So my mum went home, because I always thought the labour was a gradual thing, like it would just take ages. Well, mine just didn't. It was, I had one of those exercise balls, excuse you, like the birthing balls. So I put a towel over it, and I was sitting on there, and as the pain started coming then, and I was like, right, okay. But on that birth ball, the pain was just a lot worse. The only way I could manage was walking around. I literally would walk from the living room into the hall, into the kitchen, back into the living room. I would just do laps of the house, and the pain started to get really bad then. So when I was in the pool, it was about 5:15 in the afternoon. My waters then broke, and then we'd go home. This was about 6 o'clock, and it was getting painful. I just couldn't keep still at all. Like you, I couldn't keep still. And then, well, my husband went to Tesco because we had a plan. We were like, oh, when you go into labour, because it's going to be a while, I'll go to Tesco and make sure we've got like food and stuff for the hospital. So he went to Tesco and he left me for an hour, and I was on my own in the house for an hour, and the pain was getting really bad. So on the phone to my mum and just saying, I was just saying it was really unfair. I was just really gutted because I just thought I'd have time in between contractions, be able to time them. You couldn't time my contractions because they were literally practically on top of each other. And I was just like, this is so unfair. This is not what happens. This is the stuff that you see in like films now where it comes really quick. So when my husband then come back, the pain was unbearable. I tried to take a bath and I just couldn't stay in the bath at all. The bath was too small. I didn't like it. Careful. So we rang the midwifery-led unit at Heath Hospital in Cardiff, and they said to come in. They spoke to me, and it was hard. I know. It was hard to speak to them because I was in quite a bit of pain. They said to come in. This is about 8:30. We went in. Now this is when my memory got to be hazy. So I remember getting some contractions in the car, and it's the worst thing because you just obviously you're strapped to your seat, so you can't. So that wasn't very nice. And my poor husband Nathan just wants to get us there as quickly as possible. So we got there. My mum was one of my birthing partners as well, so she arrived too. And so I'd say I'd probably been in proper labour from 6 o'clock. So this was 8:30, so only 2.5 hours. They examined me. I was 3 centimetres dilated already. So normally they tell you to go home because you've got to wait till you're 4 centimetres. But because I progressed so fast in such a short space of time, they were like, no, we're not sending you home. Otherwise you'll end up having the baby at home or something. So I was like, oh, whatever. So I originally wanted a water birth, gas and air. And I was just going to see how it was going to go. I had no sort of plan. I liked the idea of a water birth, like the water, but it didn't turn out like that at all. They did my blood pressure, and because everything was progressing really quickly and everything was quite intense, the pain was quite intense and the contractions weren't far apart or anything, my blood pressure was just sky high. It'd been fine all my pregnancy, it'd been sky high. So they were like, oh, we'll keep checking your blood pressure. I was sick just because of the pain. I was sick on the floor, which my poor mum had to clean up. And they did my blood pressure a few times, and they just said, no, you can't stay down here. You're going to have to go up to the consultant-led unit. And I was really gutted because I didn't want to go up there. Because the midwifery-led was so nice. You had like private rooms. I know. Your own bathroom, your partner can stay over, and consultant-led is just more hospital-y looking, so I was really gutted. But I didn't. For that, I made a face, and the midwife just said to me, either you go up there or you have a fit down here. And I was like, okay, let's go upstairs. Oh, you're so gross. Oh, hang on, sorry. There you go. It was sick. So then I went up to consultant-led. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do this video in 2 parts. So if I leave it by there, just pop that there. So if I leave it there, and I'll do it in another part then and tell you what happened then when I went up to consultant-led. And I'll continue on. So we'll say bye-bye for now, and just say, we'll see you all in part 2. Yeah? Crazy baby.